Hello there folks, welcome back to the Chap's Guide. My name is Ash and I am your host on this journey through men's style, self-development and personal grooming. Now today I'm going to talk about suit rules, how to get the most out of your suit and perhaps to have a bit of a rethink about the suit and how it can fit into your wardrobe. Now for me, the suit has long been a part of my life. I was 16 years of age in 1986 when I purchased my first suit, and I remember it vividly. It was a mid-grey, single-breasted, two-button notch lapel suit, and I paid £50 for it from that pantheon of men's style, Burton's, which British gentlemen will recall is a high street men's low-end clothing seller. It's not special. I don't even know if they still exist. I think they've probably gone under. But at that time, in the town in which I lived, if you wanted anything, you had to go to Burton's because that was the only shop that a man could shop in town. And I wore that suit all the time. I wore it most weekends when I was going out, believe it or not, socially. In the 1980s, young chaps like me used to wear suits to go out socially. I used to wear it to work when I worked on a youth training scheme in a garage, working in the office, doing administration. I was wearing that suit, which, by the way, was mostly polyester. There was no quality about that garment at all. But I was wearing that suit when I took the oath to join the Royal Air Force as a 17-year-old, and at that point my life changed forever. So that suit came on quite a journey with me. And as the years have unfolded, I have owned many suits. I am a total fan of the suit in men's clothing because I think it flatters the wearer. It makes you look different. It gives you a silhouette that you can be proud of. It makes you look leaner if you're a bit bigger. It makes you look broader if you are a bit narrow in the body, because the architecture of a suit beefs up your appearance. It does a lot for you, and it's something which many men have come to appreciate as the years have unfolded. Now, if I'm honest, I own probably about 12 or 13 suits at the moment. But again, being honest, I probably only wear about 3 or 4. A large proportion of those suits I bought when I was much younger, and they probably undoubtedly don't fit me now because as I've aged, as a 54-year-old gentleman, I'm now a 34 waist. I'm not a 32 anymore. My body has changed. It's getting bigger. I always say to myself, I'm going to get back into those trousers. So I keep them in the wardrobe, but I have got a collection of suits. And over the years, I've read many books on style. I've been to many Savile Row tailors. I've experienced the world of style, and I've come to have my own observations about how a gentleman should approach a suit and how they can make the most of this, possibly one of the most expensive items in your wardrobe, but certainly the garment which has the potential to make you look your very best. Now, my first tip for you is the most important, and that is quality is king, all right? A cheap suit is always going to cheapen your appearance. Even if you've bought a cheap suit and you've taken it to a tailor and they've cut it well for you, it looks great, it's a fabulous fit, but it's going to have cheap material. It's likely going to be a polyester blend. Now, I'll remind you that polyester is plastic. It is essentially a plastic fibre. So it never looks great in the long run, and as the years unfold, they become a little shiny. They never look as good as wool or tweed or some of the other blends which you can have. Cashmere, of course, things like that. So my honest opinion would be, if you possibly can, avoid the cheap suit. Because let's be blunt, you've got two choices. You go to a department store and you buy a cheap suit. What's the other alternative? Well, if your budget is limited, don't be afraid to go pre-owned, all right? The second-hand market offers many interesting and very modestly priced options for you. If you can find the suit which is interesting, well made, it's always going to look better. Nobody knows it's second-hand, all right? You will have this beautiful suit, have it tailored to look good on you, But nobody in the world who looks upon you will have any idea of the origin of that suit. All they know is you're looking great and you're wearing a fantastic suit. So never rule out, if you've got a modest budget, the option of pre-owned. Now, when I say pre-owned, I will remind you that if you're going to charity stores or thrift shops, the majority of the suits you see in there are going to likely be recently donated. All right, they're not going to have stuff in there which is, 2 decades old, which is actually the good stuff. But they're going to have things which people have recently donated, unless somebody has died and their next of kin have sent their old suits in, which is possible. It's always worth looking out for those. But those modern donated suits, they're no better than buying a cheap suit from a store. My advice these days, by all means, look in the thrift stores, try and find that little treasure. But the other route to take, now these days, more people are interested in the pre-owned world. More people are interested in the sustainability of taking a set of clothes and going on another journey with them after the original owner. You buy them, you have them tailored for you, and they have a second life with you. And you'll find that there are many specialist resellers opening up now who sell vintage clothing and pre-owned clothing, and they've curated collections of only the best. Now obviously you're going to pay more money for these because they're not in a charity store. They're being sold by people who appreciate their value, but they're still going to be ferociously cheaper than having a modern, good quality suit. So go vintage because it's better quality and it's interesting as well. And that is what you want in the wardrobe, not some shiny polyester cheapo suit, which is just going to make you look like the guy who wears the cheap suit. Now, my next tip for you when it comes to the suit rules that you should adhere to is to remember that colour is actually your friend. Because in recent years, when I walk up and down, a city centre, even somewhere like London, which is extremely cosmopolitan and sartorially at the cutting edge of the world, when I walk past men in the street, 95% of them are either wearing a navy suit or a grey suit. Now grey, it's got a bit of variation. You can have the charcoals, the nearly blacks, or you can have the light greys, but generally speaking, mid-grey and charcoal, every other guy is wearing one. And to be honest, I believe that that is the reason why suit wearing has dropped off a cliff in recent years. Yes, it's because people are working from home much more often, but because they're so bloody drab. I mean, who wants to look like a corporate drone every day of their lives when they go to work? And that's what people are selling in stores. If I go to Marks and Spencer's, the largest department store in the UK, you will only find navy and grey. You can't find anything else. It's so uncommon to see something of a different colour. At the very least, consider some variations which are outside of the norm. Go for a bit of a true blue colour, something like that, or have a check or a bit of a pattern on it. But what I would do personally, and I am doing it right now, I would consider some of the other colours which are available to you. So earth tones make fabulous suit choices. Brown in particular. If you go back 1 or 2 generations, brown was up there with grey and navy as the more popular colours for suits. But for some reason, brown has died a death. In the 1990s, I think it just fell off a cliff and you really don't see brown being offered anymore. But brown is such a rich and variable colour. So many different tones and shades which are available to you. Brown is considered to be the colour of warmth and honesty. And I think that comes across, particularly if you wear a nice earth tone. Materials like tweed are perfect to see this in evidence. A tweed suit in a beautiful brown, magnifique in my opinion. Now, what I'm wearing is a green suit. Now, green, I think, is ferociously overlooked in the world of men's suiting because, again, lots of tones, lots of shades. It's an earth colour. It's natural. It's something which is easy on the eye. And it still allows you to look smart and very corporate appropriate. The one I'm wearing, this is a Hockerty suit, by the way, which I've had for a number of years. And it's a green colour, but with a nice overlaid check, which I think sets a nice colour stance and is still hugely appropriate for pretty much anything. But it's not navy and it's not grey, and because of that, it's a breath of fresh air. Okay, my third tip is footwear really does matter when you're wearing a suit. Shoes or boots are the foundation of your outfit, and even if you're wearing the best suit in the world, if your shoes don't match, you're going to look, let's just say less than optimum. Now for me, this modern era, there's been this feverish desire, I think, for men to stand out from the crowd. Again, I think that's down to the fact that everybody's wearing a navy or a grey suit. So what they want to do to demonstrate their charisma is to wear footwear which is a little bit more avant-garde. So you will see men wearing trainers or sneakers with their suits, either white sneakers or these modern dress sneakers which are coloured. Personally, it just doesn't work for me, because the sneaker is a casual shoe. The suit is the most formal outfit that most gentlemen will wear, and the two styles are essentially incongruous with each other. They are not designed to marry. They're too far apart on the spectrums of style. You will also see men these days wearing almost laughable things with their footwear. You'll see men wearing sandals. You'll see men wearing Crocs, running shoes, whatever, right? They are trying just to stand apart. That's the only good reason why a man would wear Crocs or sandals with a suit. If you're wearing a suit, you've most likely got a good pair of shoes at home. That is what you should be wearing with your suit. And I'd go a step further. There are men who wear extremely light tan coloured shoes with dark suits, either navy or grey. I've seen this rather a lot in recent times. I don't know whether people think they're being trendy and it makes them stand apart in a good way, but for me, that colour contrast with an extremely light coloured shoe with a dark suit, it just doesn't work. I mean, it cuts you off at the ankle, basically. It looks as if the shoe isn't meant to be worn with that outfit. So if you are somebody in the habit of wearing very light coloured, dress shoes with your darker suit, let's think again about this. You should have a colour which flows naturally. If you're wearing a dark suit, black, darker browns, burgundy, oxblood, that's where we should be going. Stay away from the very light colours and these very strange shoes or boots, which are really not designed to be worn with a suit. Now, my fourth tip for you is say yes to the tie. As you walk around these days, you see the current trend. Men are walking around collar open, maybe one or two shirt buttons undone, and the tie has been omitted, as if it is their own personal little symbol of revolt against the conformity of the corporate world, where people always used to wear a tie as an act of respect and actually as an act of demonstrating a little bit of personality. But today, men are failing to wear a tie. And I personally see a suit without a tie as something where there's just something missing. It just doesn't look right. And in fact, let's make no mistake about it. The suit is cut in a way so that a tie is meant to be worn with it. Hence why there's this big V here, where there's an open space for the tie to be worn. In previous years, where there were no such thing as neckties, suits would button up to the neck. There was no reason to have this open space. So, the modern suit demands the addition of an adornment. Now, you could wear a cravat, you could wear a bow tie, but let's be honest, in the modern world, a tie is the place you want to go. It frames the face and the opportunity to wear something which is colourful, cheerful, patterned. Even if it's a club tie, it shows your affinity to a body or organisation. I'm wearing a Royal Air Force tie now because I'm an RAF veteran. Other people recognise it, they'll speak to me in public. It becomes a valuable piece of your available communication skills to the world. So please, gentlemen, don't omit the tie because you think that you're setting a new standard or you're bucking against the conformity of modern life. You're not. You're losing an opportunity to demonstrate your character to the world around you. My next tip, be frugal with the accessories. Many men these days, who think they are intentionally well-dressed men, they've got this habit of loading up their suit with loads of accessories, which, to be honest, is visual overload. And to me, when I see a chap who's wearing a tie, a pocket square tumbling out of the pocket, maybe some sort of brooch or a lapel pin, maybe a boutonniere, maybe a watch chain going to their buttonhole. There's all sorts of things, tie bars. I mean, I've seen guys who are overloaded with bits and pieces on their suits, and it's almost like they've got everything out of their wardrobe and they've just thrown it at the suit in the hope that chucking all of the accessories on there is going to make them more stylish. And the truth is, you've over-egged the pudding, to use an old expression. You've just put too much effort into it, and it looks as if you've gone too far. My advice to people is, remember, in men's style, simplicity is often the best route to take. The more simple you can keep things, the better they look. So if you are going to wear a suit, as I am today, all right, a pocket square, maybe one lapel pin. That's all you need. You don't need a brooch, a boutonniere. You don't need a watch chain, a tie bar, all these little bits and pieces. Limit it down. Just keep it simple. The last thing you want to do is to tip yourself over into a category which makes you look like an eccentric chap who's trying too hard. Keep it simple. Okay, last but one tip, but it's really important, and that is, buy the correct size when you're buying a suit, all right? Skinny fit clothing has been really fashionable in recent years, and as you walk down the streets, you'll see lots of people wearing skinny fit items, which really they should have left on the rack. I looked this up at the Office of National Statistics. 64% of the United Kingdom, men in the UK, are graded as either obese or overweight. So if you're in that 36% who are normal, even a smaller proportion of that are going to be skinny. So I think the vast majority of us, and believe me, I very much consider myself in this category, should leave anything labelled as skinny well alone and on the rack. However you might think it makes you look, gentlemen, it probably doesn't. There is nothing less flattering for a gentleman's physique than walking down the street in a jacket that looks as if it's fit to burst if you took a deep breath, and people around would have to duck for cover as the buttons on your garment flew off like bullets. And there's few things which are more uncomfortable than wearing trousers, nut crusher trousers, which are so tight you can't properly sit down or walk up a flight of stairs without suffering a circulatory cut off below the waist. That is the last thing you want. So please, I know the trend has been recently to wear trousers and jackets which are really conforming to the body, but unless you are one of those very tiny proportion of the population who are skinny, which is, let's be honest, below average weight, and there are not many of us who can say that, leave those skinny fit garments on the rack. Okay, my final tip for you is this. Be conservative in the way that you dress if you want to be a truly intentionally well-dressed man. I'm talking about things like weddings, job interviews, funerals, special occasions where you're going to meet other people and there's a dress code which has been imposed and they suggest that you need to wear a suit. These are not the occasions for you to dress outlandishly stylishly and to demonstrate to the world that you think that you are a true dapper dresser. These are not the occasions. These are the occasions that you want to conform to the conservative dress style, because you are showing respect to the people that you're going to, the people you're appearing in front of. If it's a job interview, if it's a court appearance, if it's a wedding, you are dressing sympathetically to the situation and you're dressing respectfully. This is the time to wear your black cap to Oxford. This is the time to wear your navy suit and your single burgundy tie with a white shirt. You look classically elegant. The way that you stand out in situations like that is focusing on the detail. make sure that, yes, you are just wearing black cap toe Oxfords, the most boring shoe in the world, but you're the guy with a killer mirror shine on your shoes. You're showing people, okay, I'm adhering to the standards here, but I look better than everybody else. Your trousers, your jacket, you have ironed them. There's an absolute cutting crease down the front of your trousers. It looks as if it's just come from the dry cleaners, but actually you ironed it yourself at home before you came out. It looks immaculate. That's what you need to do. That is how you stand out. Not by wearing ridiculous things like a bow tie when everybody else is wearing a tie, or wearing, you know, outlandish trousers or things like that. You dress simply, conservatively, but focus on the core details, because those people who know how to dress well will recognize that, and they will understand that you really are an intentionally well-dressed man. So, gentlemen, in conclusion, keep it simple. Dress for yourself. Dress how you feel best. And you don't have to spend a pile of money or go to great troubles to look good in a suit. A suit will always be the suit of armour for the modern day knight. That's what us gentlemen are. And the suit is always going to be how you look your very best. It makes your body look the best. It makes you look smart and presentable for any situation. It makes other men envy you. It makes women desire you. And it will make you feel like $1 million. Follow my rules and you will nail it. If you've enjoyed today's video, give it a like. Subscribe for more. Ask me a question. Drop me a comment or drop me an email. If you'd like to support the channel, you can buy me a coffee, or you can even become a patron and benefit from the additional videos I make for my patrons every week. So, wear your suit well. And until we meet again, take care.